Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Patricia and today I'm bringing you guys a bit of a different video. So I've been seeing this little trend on YouTube and they're anti-haul. So it's people telling you things that they are not going to buy. So me working at Sephora, I thought to tell you everything that Sephora carries that you do not need to spend your money on, in my opinion anyways. I don't want to offend anyone. Most of the things that I'm going to mention are from brands who I absolutely love what they sell, but I just don't love every single product that they came out with. And this holiday season, a lot of brands have come out with lots of different palettes, so there's some stiff competition, and I would just say maybe don't spend your money on these specific ones, but buy something else that Sephora carries, because there are tons and tons of things that are absolutely worth getting. And you can see in all of my past videos, I've been making videos about a lot of products that I have been really excited about that have recently come out for holiday. So check those out if you want to know what to buy. But continue watching this one so that you guys know what not to get at Sephora. Before I start, go ahead and give my video a thumbs up. Thumbs ups are always really appreciated. And subscribe to my channel before you leave so you can see all the videos that are coming up next. So let's go ahead and get started. I already went ahead and went through the Sephora website and took screenshots of all of the items that I'm going to be talking to you guys about. And we are going to start by Too Faced. Too Faced is one of my absolute favorite brands, but I just don't know why they came out with this palette. It is the Too Faced White Chocolate Bar palette. This palette is, it's just like there's nothing special about it. It is like the chocolate palette, but a lot paler, a lot ashier, a lot less like rich in pigment as far as the colors are concerned. Don't get me wrong, like the pigmentation on the colors is fine, it's just they're all so light. If you're anywhere darker than my complexion, this palette is not for you. It is just, it's got like really like light lilac colors and very light like pink pastel colors, and there's like a random green in there. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't see myself using it to create any kind of looks that I want. If you're looking for a palette that's going to be very natural for your 12-year-old blonde niece or daughter, then this might be a palette that you're interested in. But if it's for anybody older than 13 and not blonde, then I don't think you need it. And that's a very specific like small market, and that's why I don't think this palette is worth getting. It's just very light colors, nothing special about them either. Really, they do have nice pigmentation, but just the palette, it's just whatever. Like I don't care for it. I would buy any other palette that Too Faced has ever come out with as opposed to this one. And they do have some great palettes. Palette number 2, and I've been watching some of this hauls, and a lot of people have put their this specific palette into their anti-haul, and I totally get why. It is the Fenty Galaxy Collection palette. When I saw this palette, when I saw pictures of this palette come out at first, I wasn't impressed by it. I didn't really care by the swatches, and then I saw Desi's video on this palette and she completely sold it to me. I went to the store that morning and I was actually excited. I thought I was going to get it, and then I actually swatched it and I was so disappointed. If you want to see a true review on this palette, I would check out Tati's video that she made on it, because everything she said in that video is exactly how I was thinking about it. I even tweeted her about it and everything, because she was so real with it. It's just a really expensive palette. This palette is $59. It's a very expensive palette that doesn't have any mattes in it. You're going to need something else to make it work, because you're not going to just make a look out of just shimmer shades. Are the shimmer shades pretty? A couple of them are, but you're not going to spend $60 for a couple of shades. This is just, I don't think it's worth it in my opinion, so that's why it hasn't sold out. It's still available at your local Sephora if you're interested, because it's been there. Also, I wanted to mention most of the items I'm talking about are palettes, just because palettes are one of the like hottest items to buy during holidays. Everyone wants eyeshadows, and so brands definitely deliver. They make a lot of different palettes, and these are just the ones that for me didn't make the cut. So the third palette I'm going to talk about is the Ciate collaboration with Miss Chloe Morello. here on YouTube. I love Chloe Morello. I've been following her for years. However, this palette is just, if you love her and you want to support her, then by all means go ahead and grab it. But I don't think there's anything special about it. It is $49, and besides the palette, you do get a full-size black eyeliner, a mini mascara, and a mini lipstick. So there is value in that. But at the same time, it's just a bunch of colors that I'm not interested in. It's colors that you have in every other palette in your collection. There's a couple greens, there's a couple pinks, a couple mauves. Nothing that really excites me, nothing that caught my attention. The pigmentation and the blendability in this palette is okay, but nothing that blows anybody's mind. There's no like super like shiny sparkle in it that gets you all warm and tingly and excited. It's just another palette that's going to sit at the bottom of my drawer, and so I don't need it. Next, I have my only skincare product that I chose to put in this video. And I only chose one to put in this video because skincare is very personal, and what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. So I wouldn't include skincare other than what I'm going to talk about, just because, you know, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. It might work for you. However, Boscia came out with a pink luminizing mask. It's supposed to be the exact same thing as the black luminizing mask, the one that's very popular. I own the black luminizing mask and I absolutely love it. I was told that the pink luminizing mask was the exact same formula, but I don't think that can be, because the black one is black because it's supposed to have charcoal in it. So why is the pink one, does the pink one not have charcoal, or is the charcoal pink? Or I'm just confused by the whole idea. Also, I put it in the back of my hand today to test it, and as it was drying down, it was giving me the strongest scent of Elmer's glue ever. So the scent really threw me off. The black one also doesn't smell like that, so how could it be the same formulation? I don't know, but it literally smelled like Elmer's glue. Like, I smelled the back of my hand and it was like if I was back in like kindergarten or like elementary school. It was really strong of a Elmer's glue scent, so that completely threw me off, and that is a product that I will not be buying. And then next I have the Makeup Forever palette, which I was thinking not to put in this video just because one of my coworkers said she liked it, but I don't like it, so I'm going to include it in the video. And the reason I don't like it is because it's a $50 palette that has 12 eyeshadows in it. Are they pigmented? Yes. Do they blend well? Yes. Do I like them? No. I don't love the colors. I don't love the color selection. And I think it's kind of pricey. Just straight out, I think it's pricey. I don't love that tin packaging that they do either. I don't love it for palettes. It's kind of hard to open sometimes for me, so I'm just not a fan of this particular Makeup Forever palette. Next, I have this one right here. This is the Wild One Iconic Eyeshadow Palette by Makeup Forever. This palette is $100. $100. Yes, it's Marc Jacobs. Yes, it has a ton of eyeshadows. It's got 5x4. So that is 20 eyeshadows in there. I hate the packaging. They have this zebra print on the packaging that is so tacky to me. It's such a turn off. Last year they had it in an old gold packaging, and that was pretty. But I do not like the packaging at all. The zebra print completely threw me off. Also, it's $100. So no thank you. The most expensive palette that I've bought so far is, I think, the Huda Beauty palette, and that one is $65. I will not be spending $100 on an eyeshadow palette. Also, the colors, I'm also not a fan of. There's a lot of like cool tone gray, really light pinks, and a green and a blue that has a weird sparkle. Not a fan of the colors either. So that's another palette that I will not be getting, and I don't think anybody else should either. But if you like it and it's your thing, then by all means go ahead. There's nothing like last year. I remember they had this gold eyeshadow that was like super pretty, and like one of my friends bought it just because of that gold eyeshadow, and I was like, okay, you know what, yeah, like it was a pretty palette. Last year the color selection was better, and then it had that amazing gold in it, so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, you can spend, you know, it's okay to spend the money on it, but this year there is no eyeshadow that is like anything special, and also the color selection is not as good, so not to that one. And then next I have the Create and Transform Masterclass palette. This one is from Smashbox. It launched a few months ago at $65, and I said, no way, Jose, not worth it. Right now they have it at $45. In my opinion, it's still not worth it, but it's better than the $65. This one has like 4 little palettes in one, so it's got a cheek palette, it's got a lipstick palette, and it's got a couple of eyeshadow palettes. Oh, just kidding. Cheek palette, lipstick palette, a Transformers palette, and an eyeshadow palette. The Transformer ones just has color correctors in it, like cream color correctors. I think the packaging is well thought out because they have all of these inside one big box, and then each box has its individual lid, which is very convenient because they are having some creams and some powder products combined in the same palette. So the fact that they have individual lids, I think it's a great idea. However, the color selection on the eyeshadow palette doesn't call my name. I'm not into color correctors like that. Also, those color correctors they included in that Transformers palette is for only light-skinned people. There's not a dark peach shade in there. There's not a red. There's nothing that would color correct anyone darker than my complexion. And then the lipsticks are okay, and the cheek stuff also for very light skin tones. And again, it's just, I don't think it's worth buying it. There's so many other things that Smashbox makes that are so worth getting. This palette is not one of them. Alright, so the next one I have is the Complexionista Face Palette by Benefit. This one has a 2 color concealers, 2 color bronzers, and 2 color highlighters. It is for fair people and fairest people. Like, nothing here for anyone past a medium complexion, and I think medium is stretching it. I don't love the concealers from Benefit. They put them in a box with bronzers and highlighters that are powdery, so they get super nasty in there. Hoola bronzer is for at most a medium skin tone. The Hoola Light is for barely anyone. Like, I can't even use it because it's so light. And then the highlighters are not this like pretty shimmery highlighters. They're just kind of powdery and I don't like anything about this palette. It is $32 on top of that, so there's just nothing that attracts me about this palette. I would much rather buy the other palette that they had that had all the full-size products in it, even though it was more expensive. I would much rather have any other cheap palette besides this one. I just don't like anything about it. And then I have this Kevyn Aucoin Trio. It's called the Neo Trio palette. It has 3 things in it. One's definitely like a dual tone blush. Another one is definitely a dual tone highlighter. And then there is one that's got this like highlighter to purple thing in it. First of all, it is $58, so no thank you. And then also, it's just, I swatched them in the store and they were super powdery. They were getting super messed up because they're so powdery, and there's nothing that I like about those colors. If you want a iridescent purple highlighter, get yourself the Alchemist palette by Kat Von D. There's a purple in there that is bomb. I'm actually wearing a little bit of it today, like right up here. And then I'm wearing the pink from that same palette at the bottom, more towards the front of my cheek. And that is a palette that is worth getting if you're into like color highlighters. I absolutely love that. There's just this Kevyn Aucoin one just doesn't do it for me. And last, I have 2 honorable mentions in this video, and they're honorable mentions because I didn't think they were worth it when they first came out, but now that they saw that people weren't buying it and they lowered the price of them, then it might be an okay purchase to make. And they are the Press Skin Glow Collection Eyelights Palette by Becca, and the Press, and I'm just assuming that's how you say that, Kai Glow Face Palette, also by Becca. So the first one I mentioned was $45, and it has 7 eyeshadows in there. These eyeshadows can also be used as highlighter, but I mean, look at the size of them. They're like eyeshadow size highlighters. So would you use them for highlighters or for eyeshadows? I think they were supposed to mostly be eyeshadows, and I don't think it's worth getting 6 little eyeshadows for $45. The packaging is glorious on these. I love the outside, and they have this like snow things on the packaging. Absolutely beautiful. I don't think the product was worth getting at $45. They have, however, lowered the price to $29, so I think now it's an okay deal. If you are trying to own some of the Becca highlighters and don't own any, because they do have that nice shiny quality. And then the second one I mentioned, the face palette. This one has a blush, a bronzer for fair skin tones, and then 4 highlighters that are good, and a lot of different skin tones can use the highlighters. This one was $54, and it's been lowered down to $35. So considering it's been marked down to $35 and a full-size Becca highlighter is $38, now I totally think it's worth it. I just didn't think that the original price was worth it, just because it's just nothing new. And I didn't think the highlighters were the exact same formula as the more expensive Becca highlighters, even though they are still really pretty. So that was the end of this video. Those are all the products that I've just been like, I don't think it's worth getting it, that we're that I can think of off the top of my head anyways, that we have at Sephora right now. I think all of those brands that I just mentioned have come out with other great things for holiday and for their regular collection. That's why they're such successful brands. These specific things though, I didn't like at all. So I think you should spend your money on something else as opposed to this. Also guys, please let me know if you like this types of videos. I've never done a video like this. Normally I'm very positive and I love to talk about things that I absolutely am obsessed with you, because that's what excites me. But if you guys like more videos like this, make sure you give me a thumbs up down below and comment down below other products that you think are not worth getting this holiday season. I'm definitely interested in finding out what you guys' thoughts are. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and make sure you follow me on my Snapchat and my Instagram and my Twitter and all of those good places. I'm going to leave the links down in the description bar below. As always, thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.